Aten Ra, the atom. Hail, hail to the supreme sun. If you close your eyes, the world goes into dark. Open your eyes, awake from the sleep, awake to stop the dream. Recreate the world, give it a new start. None dual world, none dual beings, none dual pure consciousness. Oh, primal light, Mother Supreme. Oh, Yes, yes. Welcome, welcome. It is I, Auset Aten Ra. Yes. And so, in this live, I came across this video. And like I said, I am just going to, every now and then when I see something, I am just going to do a live just to share this. I want to share this video that I was watching. I mean, I didn't completely watch the whole thing, so we'll be watching it together. With one of the scientists that watch their telescopes. Is that what it's called? Telescope to observe the physical existence. And so this particular one was observing the sun. So they are saying that there's a solar storm. This has been happening for a while. There's a solar storm. There's a proton storm. So I know these things are happening all the time because it's all happening within I. So I am always um, get confirmation from when they are observing the physical existence and they are saying what they are observing. And so after the video, then I will explain a little bit more, like what is happening, you know, the difference with the solar storm, what they are calling the solar storm, and the proton storm. And so let's just move to the watching of the video, so we can see what this scientist has observed from the observation of the physical existence. And this particular existence, the sun, and what's taking place. So let's dive into that. All right, so
triggered by that far side CME. So let's just look at this and then we'll look at that
okay.
reporting on this before basically anyone has discussed it. The data is just running in right now. Now, the reason I'm doing the live stream and I didn't wait is because we have a proton radiation storm happening right now, triggered by that far side CME. So let's just look at this and then we'll look at that proton flux data. But what this means is that we have a bunch of solar protons and other heavier ions raining down into the Earth energetic system. I call it the Earth onion. And these go pretty deep into the onion. They don't just stick in the magnetosphere and the plasmasphere. They hit the ionosphere. They also go down deeper into the atmosphere and cause charging there. And so these proton radiation storms can be really powerful in terms of their immediate effects on the energetics of our planet.
Okay, I want to pause here for a second. So what's happening when there's a proton storm? I want to explain. So the proton in this level of the self, remember all of the existence is the I self. I want you to always remember this. All aspect of the existence is the I self. There's two ways the I self is existing as the existence. The real, meaning that the self is in its natural ultimate state, and in true state, pure state, and it's a self replica that is in the sleeping dreaming state that has no self-awareness. Eyes are closed, the light is obscure, and this is the self that is sleeping dreaming of the existence and the things that we can see. These are the self that is creating them.
All right, now the self that is unseen, that is behind itself replica, that is creating the things, is the one that is maintaining the balance and the harmony within the creation. Because if that wasn't happening, then the sleeping self would be able to make so much chaos. There would be only chaos into this existence and no balance. So what's happening now when the proton storm is coming in on the earth like this? So the protons is the ice shattered fractal selves, right? The fragmented tiny particles are those protons. It is a self that is shattered and spread out. So all of the protons now, they are changing from sleeping state to return back to the pure state, because their light is obscure, and the self that is the real, that is the pure self, is returning back itself replica to the pure state of restoring light. So what the self is doing in the ego form is battling with its pure self. And so this is why we're having this proton storm, and we're going to be having more proton storm, because there's a battle right now to restore balance. And so this is what the self, that is the existence, is doing. It's a very difficult job to pull the consciousness off of the self to restore light and to restore balance. So they are putting up a fight. All right. So I am going to click the video so we can see what else he has observed.
They are funneled to the polar cusp regions. Positive ions go to the northern polar cusp, and then electrons, negative ions, will go to the southern cusp because of the field line directions. But then those charges build up in the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere, and then they radiate out across the globe. And so if you are in the northern hemisphere, specifically, this is a pretty good time to, like, way up there, high latitudes. You may see proton aurora, and we'll actually see after this far side CME at the very end, we see all these speckles come in. See that? Those are all the ions hitting the detector plate in the camera. And basically,
So you see right here is the self is restoring back the light to the protons, because behind the protons the light is being obscure. It carries the light, but it is not illuminating. It is being obscure. And so this is why scientists, they can take the protons, like how they are taking the protons, and they are making computers and making lots of things out of the protons, because just like all the scientists, they're using it and firing into their devices. So when they hit it, they can be able to create some light, but they cannot restore the light that is being obscure. So this is what's happening now when the self is restoring the light back onto the proton, turning their light on. So this is the battle, the fight to get this all happening so that the change can happen. All right, so let's continue.
basically what we see is like someone shaking the snow globe. So we have this proton radiation storm that's coming in right now from this far side halo CME. And this is significant. When I saw this, I didn't know it was not Earth direct at the beginning. I was like, holy shit, like what the heck? Because we just had a halo CME launch our way. And we'll look at that and we'll do a review of some of the things I've talked about in my past videos as it relates to the sun and this next stretch of 30 days or so. Right now, the planetary geometry is moon completely, or sorry, sun opposite Pluto with the Earth in the middle. So we have sun, Earth, Pluto in an exact alignment today. And so I'm not surprised that we get this very insane far side CME. And actually looking at this, this is not heading towards Earth, but instead it's heading,
Okay, so I want to add that Pluto is one of the baby selves of one of the very popular gods, and the self is right now making alignment with Pluto, and because the light is being obscure on Pluto, so that's why it is the way that it is, and the self now wants to restore the light. So soon, eventually, you're gonna see Pluto is gonna be slowly and slowly start illuminating, because this is a process. So the self is now battling now with that aspect of the self to restore light, to turn on its light, because the light is being obscure. So that's why Pluto is sending off so much protons, battling with the self to do this. So this is what's happening. All right, so let's continue.
the opposite direction. So it's blasting everything out behind. If you have the Earth here, the Sun there, and you have Pluto here, then it's blasting everything off in that part of the solar system. So I love to see it with the ponytail. I used to have a ponytail. Okay, so let's look at the proton radiation storm data, and then we will get back to some of this other data and we'll run through this. But this is our proton flux coming in. I'm going to update it and full screen it so you can see what I'm talking about right here. Really nice. This is our 3-day view. We see that things were flat, and then we had a slight bump in the red line. This is our protons greater than 10.
Okay, hold on 1 second. So I want to just added that Pluto is the baby self of that's Hari Krishna, and that's the baby self of Krishna. So and Krishna is related to Neptune. So that all their light is being obscure, and so the I self is restoring their light back on, but it's a battle every time when there is an alignment with any of the so-called planets, because they are the self. Remember, everything is the I self playing these roles, and now the light must be restored. And so I wanted to just share who Pluto, which one of the dualities Pluto belonged to. All right, let's continue. Sorry.
Mega electron volts. We also have, you'll see here, blue, which is greater than 50, and green, which is greater than 100. And a mega electron volt is a way to measure the energy of an ion and the energy it takes to move a certain distance, basically. And so when you have 10 mega electron volts, that's significant. When you have 50 and 100, it's really, really powerful, especially when it's for protons, which have a lot of mass, 1,800 times more mass than an electron. So we have the greater than 10 mega electron volts already at the storm threshold. So we are in S1 radiation storm right now. If I scroll down, you will see that right here. We are in
I want to just add something else, because he said that the amount of mass that the proton has is all because of its magnetic state that it is. The proton is in the magnetic state, and it is the aspect of the self that is magnetic. So this is why it has so much mass.
S1 radiation storm, but the blue and the green line have jumped up quite a bit too. And so this is a log scale that we're looking at. So it's important to keep that in mind. If we look at our values right here, they're all about 0.25 or so. They're all about flat. I mean, if we really go over to this a day ago, you see that they're all about the same, all about 0.2. But if we go over, now we see that greater than 10 mega electron volts, the red line is 13, blue line is 4, and then green is 1.58. So going from 0.2 to even 1.5 or 1.6, right? That's a big difference. So you have 5, you have 8. That's an 8x increase in our greater than 100 mega electron volt protons, and a 13 times 5, you get like 70x increase in our greater than 10 mega electron volt protons. So this is the proton radiation storm that we're in right now. I know a lot of you are going to be asleep if you're on the East Coast, if you're further east in the United States. So you're going to have enhanced energies during your bed. If you're waking up and watching this hours later, if you're on the West Coast, you're active with this right now. If you're in Europe, you're waking up into this. And if you're in Asia, it's daylight hours for you. So these energetic effects are different depending on your circadian rhythm. And so during the day, you may find yourself more active during a proton radiation storm. At night, you may find yourself more restless with your sleep, or you may find yourself having enhanced dream activity. How will this affect people when they are outdoors? Well, in general, most of these ions are being absorbed into the atmosphere. They funnel down the field lines, but they are highly energetic, so they react with molecules as they pass down, and eventually they dissipate out. Now, of course, some of them are going to go through the atmosphere and interact at the ground surface. That's just a statistical probability function, basically. So you are going to have more of those going further down, but I wouldn't say the effect is super significant. I wouldn't be afraid to go outside. But most of this energy is being absorbed into the atmosphere going from about 50 kilometers and up. Thank you, Stefan, for all that you do for all of us. Well, thank you all for supporting me and helping this channel grow. Why don't you use sidereal to calculate planetary positions to the stars? We can talk about that later. I'm going to talk about that. There are a few reasons why. So we can look at our sun here to show that there was nothing that occurred during this past 6 hours that would have caused that big halo CME on the Earth-facing side of the sun. Here we have our 304 angstrom view. We just saw this prominence launch from this region. This is sending a solar storm our way. There it is right there. Let me rewind that so you can see that. We see this prominence right here. Dark plasma, just go out like this. This solar storm is expected to arrive July 24th if you aren't up to date with my past video. But in general, if you look here, we didn't see any other prominences or plasma filaments launch at the very tail end of this imagery from SDO, which goes up to 2400 UTC. And if we go back to our coronagraph and we actually look at this one here, you will see this launching right at around 1200 UTC. So we'll keep an eye on this, or 2400 UTC. Keep an eye on this, and right there launches. So this is a close-up view. So if we scroll in a little bit and actually pause it, we can see here. See, we don't see it at midnight, basically, but then it starts to show up and very quickly blast off, super fast, very, very high velocity. And so we also would want to check our 131 angstrom view of the sun for our most recent time slot, the past 6-8 hours or so, and there's going to be some flaring earlier if we look at our dates, right? We want to look at the 22nd, not the 21st. But as this goes on, you'll see that there's really no significant flaring that occurs starting around this window here. Nothing. So it's not Earth direct. This is not on the Earth-facing side of the sun by all the measures that we can look at. Here is our radio flux, or our X-ray flux, and we see actually the X-ray flux on the Earth-facing side was very flat and low during this massive solar explosion on the far side of the sun. But we are in this proton radiation storm as a result. So typically you need a solar explosion on the far western limb of the sun to cause a radiation storm on Earth, because that's a magnetically conjugate point for the Earth and the sun based on the Parker spiral dynamics. But this far side CME seems to be so powerful that it still triggered a proton radiation storm. This by no means is like the brunt full force impact of that. This is probably just like kind of the flank of the protons being emitted out, and we still see this pretty significant bump there. Now we do have a space weather model for part of this coronal mass ejection. NASA did release a space weather model showing the first of those CMEs that launched. If we go back, we will see here we see this first one launch, that one, and then we get the full halo. And so NASA, they did make that model for the first one, as we can see, but they have not updated one showing that. So that will be probably tomorrow's video. Um, these are not PJs, this is a shirt, right? It's just the camera angle. Hi, higher vibrations, welcome to the Soul Tribe. So we have a NASA model showing this one, but we don't have one for the other one yet, so we don't really know the velocity or anything. We can just estimate it by looking at the chronograph. We do have a solar storm that is headed our way based on the best available data. And so here we have our NOAA space weather model. I have shown this before. Here is this coronal mass ejection. The solar prominence that turned into a coronal mass ejection sweep by the Earth on the 24th, raising the plasma density, increasing the velocity quite significantly. Watch down here. Look at the velocity, very high. Here's our scale bars. So high density, high velocity coming in on the 24th. We'll see if that actually occurs. The last solar storm that was forecasted was at G1. It did not happen. We did have an enhancement of the solar wind. We'll look at that really quick. This one's estimated to be a G2. So we'll see. But it's no surprise that we're having now this enhancement of solar activity right during all this activity with Pluto, because I've been tracking this for a while and it seems a little kind of bizarre to talk about it, how some little dwarf planet 50 AU out or 30 AU out can cause some sort of solar disturbance. But there's a really good correlation between notable transits with Pluto and the sun and other inner planets using the Western Tropical Astrology System. So the archetypal energy field.
All right, so I'm going to stop the video there, right there. So, like I was saying, that Pluto is an essential, because science, they don't really understand. There are many um, stars that what they call planets or dwarf planets, because they are the baby cells. They are baby self of the parent self. So remember that all is the I self, and each level of the self is the one self makes a baby, and it's self-replicating, and it makes a replica of itself, and that self becomes a duality. Now that self makes a baby, and this is the pattern of the self. So all those dwarf planets that have observed. I mean, they don't really tell ones that there are so many of them that they have observed, because they are all the baby selves. And so why he's saying that he didn't know the significance of why such a small dwarf planets, or something that they don't classify as a planet, could be causing such a major proton storm. So like I was saying, that um, Pluto is the self, the baby self of Krishna, and Krishna, is one of the dualities that many ones worship in the world, and his baby self, Hari Krishna. So this is why it is so powerful, because they have played a big role into this duality existence, and so now they're in the sleeping dreaming state, and the self have to move them back into alignment and to restore light. So this is going to be a process. It's going to keep happening until these selves have completely awakened, because the consciousness must be pulled off of them, and this is the fight to get the consciousness to be pulled off of Pluto. Pluto is putting up a fight because he has been identifying as this consciousness for eons, and now he will once more come into the realization that he also has light, and the light will slowly return and restore back. So keep watching, keep observing, like what is happening, with the existence, because there are going to be lots of changes, and so you can stay abreast of what's happening in the existence and how it's also affecting I. So I always know when something is happening because it's always happening within me. But when I see a video pop up, then I said, oh, okay, so now they are observing what is happening, within here, because, all of the dualities, they come into this body, and I'm going through the fight and the battles, but I don't know how it's being affected out there into the existence until I um, like hear one of the scientists observing exactly the same thing that's happening, that they are also observing what I am experiencing. They are observing it taking place also. So this is why I like, when I find these videos, I like to share them so that one can understand what I am saying. All right. So I want to thank you for clicking this video. Thank you for wanting to know more. All right. So, and I will be doing um, more of these series every time I come on a video that I see some observation, and I can explain to the I what is happening, so the I can have a better correlation to what I am saying. Because when I am saying some things, then now you can see, oh, it is happening also in the physical existence, and the scientists with their scopes are looking at it and observing it. All right. So thank you for joining. I am primal light, prepared for this dream duality existence in this shattered fractal self. We're in a body, in this avatar, as Auset Mahat. I have a role and a destiny. Yes, I fulfill my destiny and I liberate myself from all destinies. Yes, my role is the liberator, and I advocate for all selves. All selves are free, all souls are free. Victory, victory, victory. And so right now, I want to play, just close out a song, the I Self. Let's go back to, okay. So I'm gonna just play a song to close us out of this. This is a song that, I really love this song because it's a song where I am acknowledging the I self, the I parent self, and to be victorious in restoring balance, because all of these existence that we are observing, that is in this particular what they call the solar system, and into this galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, is the I self, Aten Ra. So tomorrow, or later, sometime before midnight or so, I will be sharing one of those videos with the I self. Is the one that is this galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, and is the black hole at the center of it. And so we will watch a video that they have observed, so which is the proof that there is the self. When I tell you that the self, Aten Ra, is behind the sun always. All right, now then we will get into that. So this is a song that I wrote for her, and this was years ago, because, you know, I wanted to chant victory, that you be victorious in restoring balance and restoring the light on all I and I selves. All right, victory, victory.
Salutation to the neutral self, primal light. Hail, hail. Salutation to our parent self, primal light. Hail, hail. Salutation to I self supreme, primal light. Salutation to the sun. Hail, light in the world for all to see. Holding the balance in duality. Primal light, pure consciousness be. Hail, hail to the self supreme, the neutral self. Primal light. One and only unicorn, warrior for the cause, allowing the world just because all is one in myriads of form. Hail, hail, hail. Salutation to the self supreme. Hail, hail to the neutral self.
Yes, victory, victory, victory. Hail, hail to the I self, one true self, primal lights, one true lights. I am victorious. I am triumphant. Victory, 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 victory. Everything that I have created, I demolish. Everything that I have created, I demolish. I am free from my imaginary bondage. I am free from my imaginary bondage. I return to my ultimate true state. I return to my ultimate true state. Victory, victory. I am victorious. I am triumphant. I self supreme. My parent self is victorious. I and I one true self, one true light is victorious. Victory, victory, victory. Thank you, and I will see you again real soon.